This conference will now be recorded.
So we have discussed about uh, the cloud characteristics, and we are now able to understand what is cloud computing data center and what are those characteristics. So I'll repeat again what we have covered yesterday. These are the cloud characteristics. If someone asks you, or if you want to define a cloud computing platform, you have to be very clear. Wherever the data center is having these characteristics: on-demand self-service, network access, resource pooling, rapid elasticity, and measured service, then you can consider it as a cloud computing data center. So what is the functionality of cloud computing data center? You can achieve all of your business requirements. Let it be the application hosting, because nowadays for each and every company, for each and every organization, you will have mobile app, a website, whatever the business that they are doing. So let's say Flipkart is one application, and even for the backend, there will be different types of applications, right? For managing finances, there will be different applications. For managing their employees, they'll have different applications. So to deploy each and every application, they need a data center. It means they need servers, they need storage, they need databases. So all this can be managed over the internet through cloud computing platform, which is very key to the organization to achieve their uh, business goals very fast, and they'll have better flexibility to save the cost out of these cloud platforms. Okay, what we discussed yesterday. Now, based on the deployment that we do, when I say deployment, let's say for each and I'll take an example of Flipkart. You have Flipkart website and as well as mobile app. Okay, so sometimes you'll be browsing it through a website to shop what are the products that you like, and sometimes you'll be using mobile application. So it means Flipkart has deployed their services through mobile app and through website. So wherever you go, you will have the similar product, similar price on your login, right? It is a common platform which you can use, but in two different ways. Okay. Now, similarly, we have got a concept of deployment types, which is like divided into three categories: infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, and software as a service. Okay, so we call it as IaaS in a shortcut. And here you might have heard these words, but just to make you understand better, I'm going to give some examples as well. Software as a service, right? I'm going to use one PPT for this one to make you understand better. So this is the PPT that I'm going to use. I'll be rarely using this PPTs. Everything will be on the Azure console. So when it comes to on-premises, let's say the data center which you are managing on your own. It means, again, I'll take an example of a Wipro. So if you're working for Wipro, and Wipro will have their own data centers when there is no cloud platform, when there is no cloud computing exists. Even nowadays, most of the banking industry, most of the banks are managing their data centers in on premises. When I say on premises, in their own buildings where they can trust in terms of security, availability of the applications, and everything, because of various other reasons. We'll discuss about that later. Now, in your on premises world, each and everything will be managed by your internal team, be it be networking, storage, servers, virtualization, OS, whatever you consider, database, applications, integrations between the applications, everything will be managed by your data center administrators. And if it is an application, application developer or application admin will manage. If it is a database admin will manage. It means even the physical building maintenance also will be there. You might know all that, right? So there will be a building maintenance, power maintenance, network maintenance if you are managing entire building, just like your own home. If you are the owner of the house, you will be managing a rent if it is a rented house, or if it is your own house, you'll be managing all the bills starting from electricity bill, water bill, taxes, whatnot. Everything you will be managing because you are the owner of your house. Similarly, in on-premises data centers, everything will be managed by on-premises team, including physical building. You know that building administrators will be there, power administrators, everything will be there. So now, when you consider technical terms, so these are the major categories you consider any data center. Okay, whether it is a cloud data center or it is in your own premises, you will have all of these categories. You should have networking servers, or you should have network devices. You should have storage. You should have servers to host applications. You should have virtualization, everything. These are the components that you'll be managing from data center. Now, no need to understand and no need to be very familiar with each and every concept here that I've listed. Okay, I'm just giving overview that in a data center you will have these many components that needs to be managed, and nowadays there is a security as well which you can consider as part of management. Now, this is on premises. Let's go back to the next level: infrastructure as a service. So before I start this one, I will give an example. Let's say you are trying to purchase clothes for you. There are two options. You can go to a shop and buy ready-made clothes, or you can still go to a shop and buy a clothes where you can go to tailor and give the measurements that is needed for you, and you can get it stitched, right? These are the two categories. If you compare with this infrastructure as a service model. Now, keep that example aside. Coming back to this again, one sec. Yeah. So in this infrastructure as a service model, we have got couple of components which are managed by cloud service providers. It means you no need to manage any networks of cloud computing data centers. You no need to manage. When I say manage, there will not be any maintenance activities that you will be doing, but still you can use all of these components for your business. Okay, don't get confused. I'll repeat. In a cloud computing data center, operating systems, virtualization, server hardware, storage hardware, and network hardware. All the hardware devices will be managed by a cloud service provider. When I say cloud service provider, be it be Azure, AWS, or GCP, anyone, they will have the same methodology and they are going to implement similar structure. But all of these activities, what we are covering here is a back-end activities which will be managed by cloud services. I mean, cloud service providers. Let's say I want Windows Server 2019 for my application, or I want Windows desktop for my user. I can still use my subscription front end to configure and assign it to my business user. That is possible. So, what I'm saying here is the overall maintenance activities will be managed by a cloud service provider. One moment. Okay. Yeah. So, the overall out of these uh, nine components, five components are managed by cloud service provider, and on top of this Your application developer will be pulling or pushing the code, and your database administrator will be doing database administration, and there are some runtime applications. It means on top of the existing hardware or existing services, you're going to push your data for your business needs, and these will be managed by your team of developers or team of experts, whatever you call. Okay, so after I cover this platform as a service, then I'll come back to the example what I've given, Tyler shop example. Okay, so now let's come back to platform as a service model. So in this platform as a service model, everything is ready-madely available in cloud platform, where you have to just manage couple of things, which is like application and data. When I say data, so for let's say a Flipkart, right? You are browsing hundreds of products. Let's say in mobile phones category, you'll see hundreds of mobile phones. If you go for any clothes, you'll see hundreds of images and hundreds of products and hundreds of brands. So each and every brand will have the entry into the database. Whenever you browse that specific product, it is fetching from the database in the backend, right? So your database administrators will be managing those data types. Considering infrastructure as a service and platform as a service, here we have got only a few components that we need to manage. If you consider infrastructure as a service, there are more and more components that you have to manage. Now I'll come to an example, Tyler shop. So if you go to a shop and buy ready-made clothes, if you consider ready-made clothes, there will be a minimum alterations that you can do because it is readily available and you can just use it. And sometimes without even altering that cloth, you can wear it. And you can correlate that example with this platform as a service is considered as ready-madely available services, which you can utilize it for your business without much configuration or with little configuration changes. Okay, so on a high level, you can consider this as a platform as a service. And if you consider infrastructure as a service, this can be considered for with an example like a stitchable cloths, where you can go to a tailor and give the measurements that you need, and he will make you and he will stitch you based on the measurements that you have given. Similarly, in this infrastructure as a service model, you can configure any service with any configuration that you want. But in platform as a service, you have to choose whatever it is there available. There is no better option available to pick that you want. You have to choose only whatever they have availability. That's it. So that's the main difference you can consider uh, between these. I'm sure that this will be like confusion for you. So once you're done with this session, I'll be sharing this PPT, and meanwhile, uh, if you can go through all these concepts, then it will be clear for you. Until then, it will be in a confusion state. Now, let's move on to software as a service. So here, you are not going to manage anything. In this software as a service model, everything will be managed by a cloud service provider. It means, I'll give an example, Gmail. So you are using Gmail and you are using Facebook, right? You are not paying anything for Gmail. It is a free service that you are getting it from Google. right? Now, that application is free, and you are not managing any database, you're not managing any server, you're not managing any network for Gmail. It is just like that, it is there, and you are using it by just creating the user ID. That's it, right? You're not managing any technical capacity in the backend. Of course, you are configuring some sort of settings in Gmail where you can create labels and things like that, but that is a feature of the application, not a management part. Now, the same Gmail, you might have seen that Google Drive. So, Google Drive capacity is limited for the users. It means for free, they can use up to, I think, 10 to 15 GB. And beyond that, they have to pay some amount to Google to use that Google Drive. It means they are selling it as a business. They are selling their Google Drive software as a service. And just like that, OTTs. So let's say Amazon Prime or Hotstar, whatever you call, you are not managing any hardware, any networking devices in the backend. You are just purchasing a subscription and you are watching the videos on that OTT platforms. It means they are selling their software as a service where you are purchasing, and like you, there are many users who are purchasing and they are generating revenue out of it, right? So technically, you are not doing anything, you are just a user which you have purchased a service from Hotstar or Prime or Netflix, whatever you call. They are software as a service model applications. So nowadays you might be seeing this software as a service model is booming. It means for each and every user and for each and every application, companies are charging, right? Just like that, you are using a SIM card, let's say Geo or Airtel, whatever you call. You are paying just a monthly amount for the, to that vendor, and you're utilizing that. You're not managing any mobile tower, you're not managing any server, you're not managing any application of that company. It is just a software as a service. Whereas when it comes to platform as a service, here cloud companies are managing some sort of configurations. As a user, let's say I'm from Wipro, I wanted to deploy an application for a customer, and that customer is from banking industry. They wanted to deploy a net banking application on their data centers. So I cannot go for a Hotstar or Prime or any other vendor to get this as a service model. I have to get my own set of developers into my organization, get that application developed, and then deploy. So it is a kind of process which we have to follow using this various methodologies. So I'm sure this is like a theoretical session, and you might get bored. So now I'll pause for a minute here and let's take questions.
No, in specifically in PA side, platform as service. So OS
Mhm.
support and run level support would be done by service provider or end user.
Who is this? So OS level support, yeah, it means you have options to choose. So when you have options to choose, like let's say you want Windows Server 2019, you can choose. But the updates, let's say you know the patching, right? So just like in our mobile apps, you'll be having updates. So by default,
Yeah.
those updates will get pushed by these cloud service providers. So you don't need to upgrade anything. When there is a new version, they will take care of all that, and you can simply utilize that application.
No, I mean issues now. No, I mean like if there is any OS level issues and run level issues like
Okay,
runtime
so
like
if
that.
that's right. So if there is anything that is related to your configuration, you have to fix it. That's what there is segregation here. If there is
Mm,
anything from the backend, then you
mm,
have to raise support request, and they'll be resolving that issue.
mm.
If you know that
But
it is a
yeah,
backend issue, just sometimes you'll be facing, yeah, that kind of situations will be there. You have to be very clear by reaching out to support which side of this issue is, so that they'll be able to resolve.
okay. Because we rarely use the platform as a service for them.
No, no, no.
In
Nowadays, it is there. Most like it is mixed actually, platform
mm,
and as well as infra as a service.
mm, okay,
Yeah.
sorry.
Any other questions? Right. So if you don't have any questions, then let's move on. So spend some time understanding this one after the session also. It will be clear for you, and it is not a difficult subject. You have to understand, like, let's say if you're into storage background, then you'll be knowing only the storage concepts, right? So no techie will know all the concepts end to end. Remember, you no need to worry because I'm covering all the concepts here. And it doesn't mean that everyone knows everything. So you have to focus and understand the concept, which will be sufficient for you. If you want deeper and deeper into that one specific concept, it will take ages to learn. Okay, so that's the reason if when I say if you go through the documentation that is available in the internet, you will find thousands of links and thousands of pages of documents, and which you will get confused by going through one link and then going to other. You will be totally confused. Okay, so try to understand the core concept. That's it. No need to by heart anything, so that you can frame your own sentences easily. Right. So that's about this deployment types. So how are we going to choose these deployment methodologies? It all depends on business requirements. When I say business requirements, again, client, customer, or client project, whatever you call. Let's say, again, I'm taking an example of Wipro. So Wipro is a service-based organization, and they are getting business from some other companies to support their service. Like let's say one of the application. Now Wipro has to give recommend because the other company is coming to Wipro because they don't know anything, and they are totally relying on Wipro to give the best recommendation and to enable their business without any issues and with less cost. Let's say that is a business goal. Now Wipro has to work on this, and they have to assess all the configurations which are provided by that vendor, and then they have to give confidence to the customer in designing and in configuring all that capabilities. Okay, so that's how it is. You have to uh, manage, but yeah, since it is beginning, it might like feel you that odd. So going forward, it will be okay for you. Now I'll share this PPT also to you, but anyhow you'll find it in the internet also. Deployment types. So before I go through this public cloud, I don't want to confuse this service types and deployment types. I'll pause it here till this point, and I'll cover one more topic before I cover this one, and I will discuss this one in next session. right? So the next topic is subscription model. So which is very crucial. As you know, this will be the console which we will be using, and even before that, portal.azure.com is the one which we are going to use to practice. And not only to practice, each and every enterprise will have this console only. So if they, I mean, in order to use this, you have to get a subscription, and then you can deploy your applications, databases, whatever you want. We will slowly go there, but I'm just giving you, this is the URL, and I'm going to share credentials also with you for the first few days, and then I'm going to revoke access. By then you should be in a position to create your own account. Now, just like Amazon Prime and Hotstar, this portal, whatever that you want to manage Microsoft Azure cloud services, it is a subscription based, or it is a subscription model that you can consider. It means there are different types of subscriptions which you can subscribe and use it for your own purpose or for your business. Okay. Now, even individual also can sign up. If you have the enough amount to pay for those services, you can go for it. So I have already logged into this. Let's say if you are new to this portal.azure.com, it will ask you the username and password. Okay. If you have already the username, you can go ahead and use that username and password to log in and practice. Okay. Now we have got different types of subscription models. So the first one will be a trial account, and trial account, when you create a trial account, you have to use your credit card or debit card, where they are going to charge $1, let's say $1 or 1 rupee, depends on your card. They are going to charge this $1 or 1 rupee. So using this, you're going to get access to Azure subscription. And before you create a trial account, you should have Outlook account or Hotmail account. Of course, even Gmail account also will work, but it is recommended to use this Outlook or Hotmail to use subscription. So it is just a email ID, the free email service which you have to create. That's it. And then trial account. And when you create this trial account, you are going to get around 10,000 rupees or 15,000 rupees credits to your subscription. It means you can configure services worth 10,000, or some subscriptions will get 15,000 rupees as well. So out of that credits, you can utilize it. And these credits are valid for 30 days. Okay. So if you're not utilizing these credits, whatever you are getting as part of this trial account, after 30 days, it will get expired. Let's say you utilize all this 10,000 within 2 days, then there is no use of using this trial account, because you have already consumed all the credits and your subscription is exhausted. So you cannot use any service. Of course, there are some free services which are very having a limited functionality which is not suitable for business, but for practicing and all you can still use some free services. Now this $1 or 1 rupee, it will get refunded sometimes, and sometimes it's not going to get into your account. Okay, so when you are creating this trial account, and this you will get this one, and 30 days validity will be there. And if you consume all these services within 1 week, then there is no point in using this account. You have to create one more trial account. And if you want to use one more trial account, you have to use new Hotmail account or new Outlook account, and you have to use a new debit card or credit card. So for one card, you can create one account. Earlier, let's say like I think 6 7 years ago, they were giving 5 accounts where there was no much uh, users on cloud. So at that point of time, they were giving more and more accounts with one card. Okay, so yeah, right. So they were giving more and more accounts for one card. Now this is one type of subscription. You can call it as Azure trial. And the next type of subscription is pay as you go model. So in this pay as you go model, you're not going to pay anything upfront, but you're going to link your credit card to the subscription. It is a personal account, pay as you go. If it is a personal account, you have to give personal card. If it is a company account, you have to give company's credit card. Now here, you are not going to get any limit here like this. In trial account, you are getting something around this 10,000 to 15,000. But in this pay as you go model, it all depends on your credit card limit, right? Let's say I have used 50,000 rupees worth services in 1 month. So this 50,000 will get charged into this credit card. And whenever you get credit card bill monthly, that will reflect in your credit card bill. You have to pay it for credit card company because Microsoft has already taken out from this credit card. So that's the reason whenever you're trying to create a trial account, you should be very careful because I have seen many of my previous batch students have created pay as you go model while they were creating this Azure trial account, and they didn't notice till they receive the credit card bill. So one of the previous batch candidate has received 70,000 rupees bill on his credit card. He didn't realize when he was creating, he has done using that card and he didn't notice that, and he has utilized all the services. Even then, he was practicing, he did not find that it is pay as you go model. So after he sees that credit card, it was 70,000 rupees bill. You should be very careful when you are creating accounts, and people will call this one as pay as you model. It means pay as you go model. Now, this is one level. This sometimes small scale enterprises will be using this pay as you go model, or some individuals who has got their company sponsorship where they can utilize it for POCs and showing demos to the customers. They can go for this model. Okay. Now, the next level of subscription that we have here is MSDN subscriptions, or Visual Studio subscriptions. Okay, so in this model, you are going to get, again, let's say, again, I'm taking an example of Wipro. I work for Wipro. Wipro has purchased hundreds of products from Microsoft. Let's say they have purchased Windows licenses, they have purchased MS Office licenses, they have purchased SQL database licenses. Since Wipro has purchased more and more licenses from Microsoft, Microsoft will offer, hey guys, since you have purchased for huge amount, I am giving you a benefit of Azure subscription where you can utilize it for your learnings. So organizations will get this kind of subscriptions for free if they have procured more and more licenses, or if there is any business agreement already with Microsoft. Microsoft will offer these subscriptions, and if there are this type of subscriptions available with your organization, they can assign it to the users. It is not for everyone that they can assign. It is only available for some users because of the limited availability. So you can ask in your organization if there are any MSD and Azure subscriptions. They can allocate it one for you. If it is there, they'll be getting 10,000 rupees or credits into, I mean, in Azure account, and this 10,000 credits is valid for 1 month, whereas you can consume all 10,000 in 1 day or 2 days. It is up to you. After 1 month, again, your subscription, you're going to get another 10,000. Whether you use it or not, this 10,000 will get expired in the first month. In the second month, you're going to get another 10,000. There is no carry forward from 1 month to second month. Okay, so second month and continues until unless you have your MSDN account that has been given to you by your organization. Okay, this is mainly for learnings that organizations will give to their employees for their practice or for their labs or self learnings, whatever you call. They are giving such kind of subscriptions to encourage learnings on this cloud platform. Okay, now next level we have here is CSP. So just a second, it is a CSP subscription. Right. Yeah, as I told, yeah, it's a CSP subscription, which means cloud solution provider. It is a kind of reselling business that Microsoft is offering to various organizations. Okay, so which means reselling is nothing but, let's say, Microsoft has sold some sort of Azure capacity or Azure subscriptions to Wipro, and for discount, Wipro is trying to sell these subscriptions to their customers with higher prices. It is just a kind of distribution ship model or resellers, whatever you call, you know that concepts, right? A reselling. If it is a reselling, and the reselling vendor will have some sort of commission if he is selling out of it. Let's say wholesale retailers things, right? Same thing here as well. So Microsoft will sell their enterprise subscriptions or their subscriptions to the vendor, and this vendor will sell to all of his clients for some additional charges. So this guy will pick up with huge discount in bulk, and then he will sell it to other vendors in small quantity with higher prices. Okay. Now, and in this type of subscriptions, it will be an agreement between this cloud solution provider and the company. Let's say Wipro is the cloud solution provider, and then some XYZ company is the end organization who has purchased subscription from this cloud solution provider. I'm taking an example of Wipro. Even TCS is the partner for Microsoft, so where they can also sell subscriptions. So there are some companies where they can utilize this benefit. Now, last option is the one where most of the enterprises will be using, which is enterprise agreement, which we call it as EA. If someone asks you or says about, do you have EA subscription? It is nothing but enterprise agreement, where this is a deal directly with Microsoft and your organization. So you are going to purchase, or you're going to get into an agreement with Microsoft directly, and Microsoft will offer some benefits to your organization based on the deal size. Let's say your organization has plans to move to Azure and they are going to generate revenue of $10 million. Okay, then they Microsoft might give some discounts to you because you're going to bring more business to cloud. So if it is a long-term deal, then you're going to get 50 to 60% discounts on the prices that Microsoft has got on the subscriptions. Okay, so in these enterprise agreements, you are going to get invoices every month to your organization finance team or admin team, where they have to pay bills based on that invoice to Microsoft. So it is not upfront cost. You have to, you can utilize whatever the services that you want, and whatever you have utilized, you're going to get invoice to your organization, and your organization has to pay the bill to Microsoft. Okay, so this will be the enterprise agreement where most of the enterprises are using. And the next level is CSP subscriptions based on the resellers and resellers capabilities. They would have sold number of subscriptions to customers. And for all the users, I mean for all the customers, URL is common and the login ID will be different. Once you have a separate login, you will be isolated. It means your login is isolated to your subscription. To the same subscription that your company has got, I can create hundreds of users for my company users. And that will be discussed in next level, but I'm just giving you a heads up. So these are the subscription models which we are going to see in the real-time environments, and all of our labs will be through this Visual Studio subscriptions or through Azure trial account. Okay, so in order to save this credits for 30 days, because if you create today and leave it for 1 week, your credits will get consumed very fast. Okay, so whenever you are done with your lab going forward, you have to delete that specific service in Azure so that we can save the cost and we can use it up to maximum extent. But still, I did not share any credentials with anyone, and still we are into uh, the initial phase only, and I'll share those account details as well. Okay, so I'll pause it here and let me know if you have any questions.
Anna, I'm sorry. I'm the one who's repeatedly asking you multiple times.
Yeah, no problem. Tell me.
Yeah, I mean, like in a trial account, right? If the trial account, the whatever the barrier amount that we have got as a free, so like 10,000, 15,000, if it gets over, it automatically converts into pay as you go, right?
No, no, no. It will not convert until unless you do that.
Okay, we need to do that manually.
Correct. So don't do that pay as you go because, as I told you, the problem
Yeah.
you're going to get more and more charges for that account. So don't convert. If
Okay.
you don't
And this,
convert and if
yeah.
you're not using it, it will get disabled.
Okay. I mean, like the resources will get disabled.
Resources by default, as and when the credits are completed or consumed,
Yeah.
all of
Mhm.
your services which are paid services will be disabled, and you can only use free services. That free services will work without even credits also.
Okay. So if I renew after the disablement, then again we
Then
can get it back.
yes, you can get those
Okay.
services back once you enable your charges there.
Okay. In pay as you go, na, I mean, like, assume we are doing some, some some POC servers we have deployed and
Hmm.
something like.
Hmm.
So, and we have kept that shutdown for a limited period of time, and then those shutdown period will be measured as a paid service or how it is.
No, no. So that's the reason. Yeah, this concept, measured service. If you shut
Okay.
down the machine for 12 hours, let's say even for 1 hour, and you're working
Mm.
only from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. every day, and you
Mm.
don't want from 6 p.m. to next day 9 a.m. If you shut down that, there are no charges for that shutdown period.
Even in pay as you go.
Yes, there will be
That's
minimal
awesome.
charges which is for disk utilization, but if you
Okay.
shut down, you can save 90% of the cost.
Do we need to specify anything while deployment or after deployment?
No, 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 that
Or
is everything automatic. You have to just shut down. That's it.
okay, okay, that's awesome. These MSDN are like it's all same like earlier we used to get Office subscriptions and all like this
Yeah,
similar
yeah,
right?
yeah, correct. Same. Yeah,
Earlier we used to get 2007, 2010 Office licenses almost. I
right.
think it will resemble the same.
Yeah, yeah.
And
Now they have
this
changed it to Visual Studio, but still
okay,
people call it as MSDN. So that's the reason I am making it as both.
Visual Studio. So do we get any apps along with it? Like
What
Visual
kind of
Studio,
apps?
anything, any run level applications, Microsoft applications we get with free for this.
No, no.
Generally, we used to get some. Yeah.
Depends on the type of subscription you are going to get. If it is purely for Azure, it will be
Mm.
only for Azure. If it is for Azure along with some other, let's say MS Office and some other licenses, then it will be for those licenses. But here we are speaking purely about Azure. It depends on organization to organization how you are going to get.
Okay. That's awesome. But for this year, we need to contact the Microsoft sales guys or only the toll free that we
Yes,
need to.
you have to interact with enterprise agreement, or even you can just simply register over the internet. Microsoft sales team will call you and they will arrange the meeting. So
We'll have
it
dedicated
depends.
RMs. Something.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. They have to deal all these interactions. It is not our technical people who will be dealing.
Okay, so we'll just give
But
the diagram, like architect diagram, and then they'll give us a
that is technical level, so not even architect level everything. So if let's say my company goal is to go to cloud by 2025,
hmm.
so the first thing that I'm going to do is, because we have to think differently here. So from business point of view, their view is different. From technical point of view, our view is different. So they look for a long term and for the cost savings and all the benefits out of cloud. We worry about technical stuff, whether we can move to cloud or not, how difficult it is, what are the technical requirements. We worry about this. Business worry about something else. So if
Hmm.
their ultimate decision is has to be taken by a leadership, if they take a decision to go to cloud, then you have to work and there is no option for you, right?
Absolutely.
If you decide that I'm not going to work, business or the leadership team, they will hire someone and work, get it done, because their goal has to be accomplished.
Yeah. That is true.
It
But
depends.
the BA guys will act as a spark for between Microsoft and our
Yes.
company.
Yeah. If you are into, let's say, a senior architect or enterprise architect, you might be
Mm.
involved and you might be asking some technical stuff to the Microsoft team to get more and more discounts, and even to discuss with your internal team. Yes, it is a next level if you are into a senior position, that you can have that kind of discussions with your leadership team.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Clear.
but to be frank, I wanna put this and record on this call, and but as I said earlier, I also have subscription for Medidata for solution architect Azure, and
Mm-hmm.
for AWS and for DevOps, and there is no one in the market who gives this information in specific as such you're given. To be frank, I'm just definitely glad that to have, because I was completely, even if you are doing any support for any company for such cloud solutions, right? Like we weren't sure that even there's no course that teaches this specific this page information to anybody.
Oh, okay.
That's really,
That's fine. Thank you.
really I'm glad to that. I was really confused with these things, and many interviews even have failed. What subscription you have? Like there is no, even in internet also there is no such detailed information available even with Microsoft. Only the
Yeah, yeah.
real time
So it
guys.
is all coming out of experience, and that's what I mentioned. If you go through the documentation, you will get hundreds of pages, and you're totally blank even after reading all those documents.
Yeah, but this is something very pretty small and